Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello dear learners, welcome to this online course on writing skills. I am Dr. Divya Gupta, an assistant professor at GLA University, Mathura. Today we are going to begin with effective writing skills. Now I would like to add and ask the question that how you all can be an effective writer. I am not claiming that most of the people who are watching this video are not an effective writer. But what are the things which makes your writing more effective? Now in this case there are certain parameters on which your writing skill depends. In this condition, when I talk about writing, it is very essential to know about the basic elements, the roots. When we talk about any kind of letter writing, any kind of notice writing, any kind of small piece of composition, you focus on first of all the selection of words, right? Don't you? Actually the point is that you will identify first of all the exact vocabulary. Then after selecting the exact vocabulary, you move up to the content. And after that content, you will definitely move up to the grammatical aspect, right? So the basic roots will be honed or will be sharpened just through these particular lectures that we are going to coming up, right? Now in this case, we will move forward towards the root, towards nurturing our roots where the building blocks. What are the building blocks? Have you ever heard about this term building blocks? They are, yes, they are first of all letters. When the letters compile together, they form up words. Magnificent, elevated, and you can say there is plenty, abundance of words are available. Now my question to you people is, how will you select the words? And before that, have you ever imagined that how these words are created? I'll tell you each and everything, but after getting to know that what would be the outcomes of this particular course. Since we are going to deal with effective writing skills, you all will be able to learn the concept of word evolution, how these words have evolved with the passage of time, and then we further move towards the ability to use different type of words at different level and according to different semantics and different context. There has to be pragmatics, denotative meaning and connotative meaning. So you have to select the better version of it. Further, you would be able to employ the perfect writing style for perfect composition. Perfect writing style means which style would you go for? Persuasive, narrative, descriptive or expository. We will come across all these things one by one. Then we will further move towards the word formation process. How many words do we think that they have originally came up in front of us? No, my dear students, my dear learners, you all have to remember that words, there is a root word and then after adding suffixes and prefixes to it, you can make a new word out of it. We learn all that process and how does it make your writing more effective. So, with this note, we will move forwards towards the content of this particular lecture. First of all, we will go through the contextual usage of our words. The contextual usage of our words means like as if I told you there has to be two meanings of any word. Now in this condition, when there are two meanings of the word, you have to understand that one meaning will be denotative and the other meaning will be connotative. And you might have heard about the term pragmatics, that is the deeper meaning. And then further we move towards the word formation process that I have already explained you, and then further formal and informal style of writing, and last but not the least, all the writing skills: persuasive, narrative, expository and descriptive. You will identify, you yourself will think about using the perfect style according to your composition, according to your demand, whether it be notice, letter, article, diary entry, it could be any business letter or business compositions. Then we further move towards the next thing. What do you mean by the contextual usage of words? Contextual usage of words is the first element. You have to select the words, but before that you have to see the context. And how will you identify that context? You will be able to identify that context on the basis of language, on the basis of the audience who are going to see that, read that and hear that. Understood? So you have to change your words usage according to the listener, according to the audience. And then further you move towards, because the meaning, your language, everything changes, and even the situation is also very effective while choosing the correct word. Situation makes the word sometimes irrelevant and sometimes useful. For example, I will give you a few more, with a small parable I will definitely tell you something related to the contextual meaning of the word. Theme also changes. When your theme is narrative, suppose, or when your theme is you are trying to come up with thriller, suspense, you must use the words that are relevant to it. And then location of the person, location of your whole story. Where are you going to present it, and how many, like at which particular place it is going to leave its impact. So location, and then purpose of these words. Purpose of your words, is it to arouse humor? Is it to arouse any kind of like suspense? Is it going to create some kind of thriller? So it depends on you. How are you going to select the words according to their context? So with this note, remember my dear students, contextual, that is pragmatics, they are very important. Pragmatics means something that is related to the deeper meaning, what the writer wants to convey, and the superficial meaning. Or you might have heard about the denotative and connotative meaning. In poems, most of the time it happens that people used to ask about the denotative meaning, the denote, what it denotes. So this is what is very useful while talking about the effective writing skills. Then we further go to the efficacy of words in global business. When we talk about any composition that is meant for global interaction or for business transactions, you can say, like letters, advertisements, notice, drafts. So in that condition what happens? Efficacy of words matter a lot. Now you will see how these words, have you ever imagined that how these words have evolved? 21st century, and where people are flourishing, they are enjoying, relishing. Human beings are speaking in all the languages, in different dialects. Now my question is that, have you ever thought that how these new words have evolved? And the second question is, how can you say that these words have a deeper meaning in it? You might have thought about several times that a new word is added in the dictionary. Am I right? New word is added in the dictionary. You get confused with it, that how these new words are added in Cambridge dictionary, in Oxford and Macmillan, etc., etc. There has to be some kind of reason behind it. Can anyone guess? Because the words that are actually used or come in print media for more than 200 times. Basically, when the words come in the printed form for more than 200 times, that word automatically transfers to the dictionary. So, it has to be there in a printed form for more than 200 times. Then that word is added, a new word is added in the dictionary. Now point number 2, how these words have evolved. With the passage of time, these words have become our like part and parcel of our life, right? And we know how to use them properly. But how are they evolved? What is the process of evolution? Are we speaking? No. Homo sapiens used to draw pictures on the wall in order to communicate between two people, right? But how these words came into our existence? Now we will see. Look at these words. Construct is the root word, where ION is the suffix, and that makes construction. Now, if I add IVE to it, it will become constructive. Then by adding ED to it, I am changing the tense. Construct is the present and constructed is the past tense. Again, reconstruct, I am trying to change the meaning of the word by just adding one prefix to it, that is reconstruct. And then further we move up to the next word, that is deconstruct, again adding one more prefix to it, and then reconstruct, deconstructive, reconstructive. So, in that condition, one suffix is added to it and one prefix is added to it, one suffix and one prefix is added to it. How these new words are added? They are formed on the basis of suffixes and prefixes. So, now you all have to understand that this is the first and foremost thing that you have to remember. Now, with this efficacy of words in global business, we will move forward towards different type of word formation process. How are we going to decide and find out that these words formation process are very important? Now, in this condition, if I tell you that two words are joined together to form up a new one, right? So, for example, the process by which we make new words is called word formation process. That is very simple. Nobody is going to ask you what is word formation, but you should know what is word formation and how are new words formed. My dear students, my dear learners, remember the domain of study that deals with words and their formation is called morphology. That is called morphology. Remember, there are many ways of forming words, and what are they words? By adding affixes to it. Affixes, they are prefixes and suffixes both in that condition. Now we move up to the next one, and one by one we will come across with different strategies, different types of word formation. In this category, the first one is inflection and the second one is derivation. Generally, as we have seen this example of construct, reconstruct, deconstruct, constructive, etc. Now, in this condition, you should remember that inflection and derivation, you might have heard about these terms, not in English but in mathematics. That is true, but you will learn the usage of these things in English as well while making or forming up a new word. Now, while adding affixes to a word, for example, if I say car plus s, cars. If I say boy plus s, that is boys. Now, in this condition, what happens? This new word is formed by adding suffix to it. Okay. Inflection is a process in which suffixes and prefixes are added to the word, but it may change the number, it may change the person and gender. For example, it may change the number, remember, for singular, from singular it can change to plural, right? It can change the after number, it can change the person. It will change like that, and certainly it will change the tense also. It will change the tense as well. From, for example, he look. Look will change to plus ed will change to looked, or you can use several other examples like stare. Stare plus ed, that is stared. Now in this case, remember inflection will be an addition to the word of affixes, suffixes and prefixes in order to change the number, in order to change the tense and person, right? Is that clear? Then the second category is derivation. After inflection, we will move towards derivation. Now what is derivation? Derivation is something, again the same process, but through this process word will change. How will that word change? From noun it will change to adjective, from noun it will change to adverb, okay. From adjective it will change to noun. Remember my dear students, for example, if I say man plus hood, if I say man plus Lee. So, in derivation the part of speech of the word changes. Remember my dear students, with the help of suffixes and prefixes, by adding to it, adding to the root word, you can change the exact part of speech of any word. Now look at this, this is different with inflection in the sense that derivation by adding affixes, affixes means suffixes and prefixes, and the category part of speech of the word changes. Now in this condition, let us take an example, contradict plus, that is the verb, plus tion, that makes contradiction. Then noun, this remember contradict is a verb which when added with tion becomes contradiction, that is a noun, okay. Next point, slow, slow is an adjective, and when ness is added to it, slowness will become the noun. Now again if I say write, write is the verb, please write the answer, write is the verb, and if I add er to it, that will become the noun, writer. Understood everyone? So, inflection is where suffixes and prefixes or affixes are added to the word in order to bring about a change in that word and make a new one, bring about a change in terms of person, number and tense. Whereas in derivation what will happen? It will change the part of speech, remember. Then we move up to the next category, that is clipping. Have you ever clipped something? Have you ever clipped out anything? You will see that generally we use the clipped out format of many words. For example, if I say phone, phone was ringing. Is it phone was ringing or telephone was ringing? Actually it is telephone. Now looking at this example, there are clipping. Some part of it is clipped out. Clipped out, and that original root word is used as the colloquial, in the colloquial language. So phone, that is telephone. And then varsity, V-A-R-S-I-T-Y, varsity is generally used for university, but we use varsity, that is the short form of it. Then shoot, clipped out form. For parachute we use shoot. Understood everyone? Now back clipping, some part of the back side will be deleted. Now in this condition add, that means advertisement is deleted. Add, gas, gasoline, gym, gymnasium, cab, cabriolet, bus, omnibus. There are many other words like this. At the end of this lecture, I would certainly raise few more questions so that you can use your intellect and your brain in order to be acquainted with all these word formation process. Right everyone? Now I would like to ask you about this middle clipping. Now what happens in this middle clipping? We generally derive that particular middle part of it and we retain that middle part. For example, influenza. In this condition, flu is actually used, is retained. Flu is retained actually. Retained is, I am just using this word flu. Fridge, that is fridge. Understood everyone? Fridge over here. Then we have hobby. Can anyone answer about this question? Hobby, drawing room, mob. Can anyone think about these things? What does hobby stand for? It's hobby horse. It's hobby horse. Remember. And what about drawing room? What is drawing room, everyone? You have to give me the answer. Think about it. Drawing room was initially known as with drawing room. With drawing room. Understood, everyone? Then what is mob? We generally use this term mob. So what is mob? Why is it used like that? From where has it originated? Mob. Any answer? Or maybe in our next lecture, I will tell you. Let's not leave a loophole there, because it is mobile. It is mobile. Mobile vulgus. It is mobile vulgus. That has actually is the root word and then transformed to MOB, mobile. Understood, everyone? So, these are the words that you all should have a thorough knowledge about them. We generally use them in our colloquial language, but how far do you know the meaning of these actual words and from where they originated? It matters a lot, you know. Then after clipping, we move towards the next category of word formation, that is blending. What do you mean by blending? Have you ever churned something in the kitchen? Have you ever blended anything? Blended together and form up a new something, created something new out of it? Yes, blending is like that, where blending is mixing up two things together and forming a new word out of it, but leaving out something which is irrelevant. For example, brunch. You can take this example, brunch, breakfast and lunch. In this, BR and UNCH is combined together to form a brunch. Cyborg, cyber plus organism. Is it clear? Cyber plus organism. Guesstimate. Now in this condition, guess plus estimate. So it clearly indicates that I am combining two words together to come up, to bring out a new word out of it. Right? So that is called blending. Next, modem. Any answers, any clues? What does it stand for? Many of you technical students might be using this term regularly in your colloquial speech. So what is modem? Modulator and demodulator. Right? And then further, what does it stand for? Global English. This is something very nice. You might not have heard about this word. Globish. Just go and check the meaning in the dictionary, everyone. Okay. So, this is what globish is. Global plus English. Right. So, in this manner, new words are regularly, every now and then are created. Understood, everyone? So, this is again a very integral part of word formation. Words are formed together and some part of it is left out to form up a new word out of it. Understood? But remember, root words are breakfast, root words are lunch. They are combined together with each other and some part of it is taken up to form up a new one. Whereas, opposite to blending, we have compounding. Now, let us go on with the next category, that is compounding. In this condition, compounding is joining two words as it is without leaving anything ahead, anything apart. Now, in this condition, dog and house. Dog plus house, that creates dog house. And then break plus fast, break fast. It's not a big deal that whether I am adding verb and noun together. Yes, it is good. Noun and noun together. Fine. If I write uphill, what does it mean? I am using preposition and noun over here, right? And it will create a new word, uphill. Okay? That you are adding noun with any kind of verb or noun with any kind of noun or preposition with any kind of noun. Yeah, my question to you, what is cloudburst? From where has it come out? Any answer? Any clue out of that? It's a very simple one. Cloudburst is again cloud plus burst. Is that clear? Two words are simply joined together to form up a new one. Then overbridge, again one preposition with the noun joined together, over plus bridge. Understood everyone? Then we move further towards the next category of word formation. You might have heard about abbreviations, but not acronyms, most of you. So what is the difference between acronym and abbreviation? Now in this condition you have to remember that abbreviation and acronyms, they are two sides of one coin. How will you say like that? In this condition, abbreviations, they are written in small letters, point number 1. Point number 2, you can use like points over here along with that, but nowadays you can write doctor like this as well, and doctor like this as well, and dr like this as well, without using any point as well along with it. So this is quite natural. Mr. like with dot and without dot, they both are acceptable. Jan with dot or without dot. So according to the recent system of communication and writing, we people have avoided using these points over here. But what are acronyms? Acronyms are those words which are the initials of those big words. Okay? You might have heard about NASA. You might have heard about AIDS. You might have heard about ASAP, that is NASA, IGNU, TMU. AIDS is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. ASAP, as soon as possible. IMAX, image maximum. Then laser, light amplification by the stimulated emission of radiation. PIN, generally we use PIN code number. Could you please tell me your PIN code number? Now what is PIN? Personal identification number. What is radar? The cars actually came out of the radar. So that is radar is radio detection and ranging. Understood everyone? You must know that all these initial letters, they create a new word. New word. We generally use PIN, but we don't know what is the meaning of that. We generally use radar, but we are unaware about the meaning, the full form of that. We generally use AIDS, NASA, but how many of us actually know the full form of it? So, my dear students, this is again a new form of word formation where we create a new word and we pronounce it in the manner NASA, IGNU, like this, laser. With this, we will move forward towards the next category, that is root creation. Why? Like till now we have been adding or deleting something from the root, right? As if we did brunch, as if we did smog, right? So, how that smog created? Smoke, that is a root word, plus fog. Am I right? Now, you know this thing very well, that this is a process called blending. But my question to you is that how these root words are created? How? The question is that. Now, how these root words are created? My question to you all. Just think a little, you will get to know. Now, look at these terms which I have used in order to explain you these things. Trade names. Generally, we use these trade names. For example, patent trademarks became the class name, right? Patent trademarks. Now, which kind of patent trademarks am I talking about? For example, if I say I am going to Xerox the copy, I am going to get the Xerox copy or Xerox machine. Now, what is that Xerox? Is the name of the inventor, and that becomes the root word from where it has been taken. Understood? In the same way, Vaseline, zipper, band-aid, escalator, Frigidaire, Kodak, all these terms were, or these terminologies we are using in our colloquial language because they were used, they were the names of either the inventors or or the city to which he belongs. Understood? In the same way, if I say magnet, please go and search it. How this term came into existence? Magnet. Right? So, that is your task for today, everyone. I am not going to tell you, so that you may actually become eager and inquisitive to find out the answer on your own. Please search it and let me know. Now, with this note, we will move forward towards the next category, that is functional shift. Now, while talking about words, the basic question that arises in our brain is the meaning changes with the passage of time. With the context it changes, right? Like suppose if I use any word as a noun, the meaning will change. And if I am using the same word as a verb, certainly the meaning will change again. So, my question to you is how this functional shift happens, how this whole thing comes into existence. Now, you have to just be very clear about it. While talking about feature, I am taking a single example of it. While talking about feature, you all should know that this feature word is actually used thrice over here, right? But in this condition, she has sharp features. Now, over here it is used as a noun. Second example, she featured in a film. In this condition, it clearly indicates that she featured in a film is featured is a verb over here. And third sentence, it was a feature film, again an adjective, right? So, how does the meaning change of the word? That is the functional shift. That means whatever the role of the word in a sentence, role of the word in a sentence, it clearly indicates that some kind of change would be there. Remember, my dear students, the role, the either role or function. So, how does it play in the same sentence? The meaning will certainly change. For example, foot. We went on foot. That clearly indicates that we went on foot. I am walking. And he had to foot the bill. That clearly indicates that I am going to pay the bill. Right. So, remember, and what about foot of the hill? Foot of the hill. Now, I am just clearing the whole thing and then writing it in a fresh way so that you would be able to understand. What about foot of the hill? The village was situated. The village was situated at the foot of the hill. Now, my question to you is, tell me, now the meaning of the word changes? Yes. Foot over here as a noun, foot over here as a verb, and foot of the hill, it's again noun, but the meaning of the word changes. So, with this note, we will move up towards the next category, that is semantic change. We discussed about the contextual change in our sentences, the contextual usage of words in a sentence that actually creates the framework for you people. And now we will concentrate on the semantic change. And how does this semantic change takes place? In this condition, semantic shift, meaning changes from conventional way of dealing with things, conventional meaning we have changed, we have come up to the recent, to the current meaning of that word. And my dear students, you won't believe several words which we are using right now, they were used earlier in a different manner. Semantic progression, semantic development and semantic drift, that is changing the direction from that to the another one. I have come up with 5 words that have changed the meaning with the passage of time. For example, if I say silly, silly, the original meaning is blessed with worthiness, and nowadays silly word is used for somebody who is very lunatic sort of person, right, or who is very careless, silly. Flux, in the same manner, flux, the original meaning was diarrhea and dysentery. The original meaning was diarrhea and dysentery, and because it was the actual usage is continuous movement, right. Fudge. Fudge is again, the original meaning is lies and nonsense. Lies and nonsense, whereas nowadays it is used for temporary solution. Nowadays it has been used for temporary solution, something which is suggested for the temporary phase. Fudge. Leech. The original meaning of leech is a doctor or a healer. Isn't it amazing? You can refer to several books that I have actually cited over there in the reference box. You can go through it. A doctor or a healer, and nowadays it is used for a small creature. And then for the stripe, that is original meaning is a mark on the skin from a lash. Mark on the skin from a lash, something sometimes hits you, that is stripe. And nowadays it has been used a long narrow line of color, that is a stripe. So the meaning, semantic shift, it clearly indicates that how the meaning of the word changes with the passage of time, everyone. Right? So with this note, we have learned how these new words have evolved and how are they added to the dictionary. Further, after that we have learned that what is the word formation process, that is blending, then compounding, then inflection, derivation, clipping, acronym, abbreviations, and with the usage of selecting those words in a proper manner, we can go to semantic change as well. That the deeper meaning and connotative meaning of the word also changes when you use them in a perfect manner. So with this we will move forward towards the next thing, that is words that are created from a proper noun. From a proper noun. Now in this condition, let's take up Earl of Sandwich. From there our new word sandwich is used. Nowadays, which we generally use over here, I want to eat sandwich. So what is that? It has driven from the word Earl of Sandwich, because that person was quite interested in eating those bread, and that is how the Earl of Sandwich turned up to the name of the object. Palatine Hill is again taken up the form of palace nowadays. Further, Guy Fawkes. Guy Fawkes clearly indicates that we are using guys right now. Look at these guys, they are just hanging around and enjoying, relishing the whole part. Okay, so this is what guys come up. Rudolph Diesel, and Diesel came into existence, everyone. So remember, all these words have originated from the proper nouns as well. Now my question to you all is to find out from where this boycott word came. That's your homework. You have to find out from where has it come. Boycott. That's a very common term we generally use, but you have to tell me, you have to just find out that okay, from where these words have turned up or originated, from which proper noun. Now we move up to the etymology and change in meaning. What is etymology and change in meaning? Etymology is actually the word syntactical meaning, the etymology, that is generalization versus specialization. When we talk about some words in a general sense, that is called generalization, and elevation, when we are trying to elevate the meaning of that word and sometimes degrading the meaning of that word, that is called degradation. And now we move towards the extension of meaning, euphemism, denotation, connotation, collocations. So these are the terms which are used to show the etymological change in the meaning of some words. Then further we move up to the next thing. What are words that go together? Most of the time it happens that we get confused with the words. We say that, okay, come on, make your bed. But do you really think that this one is incorrect or correct usage of words? Now in this condition, I would like to add and ask you, right? There are many pair of words that come together in a sentence. Now in this condition, a sequence of two or more words used together for a specific meaning are called collocations. Then they are accepted as a standard in day-to-day English. We don't use any other word for these word usage in that condition. And then other combinations may sound incorrect and unusual. For example, if I say heavy traffic, we cannot say hard traffic. It was very high traffic. Much traffic, no. This is unusual and incorrect. Heavy rain, it was raining heavily. Or you can use the other thing, it was raining cats and dogs. That is a phrasal language, cats and dogs. But you cannot use, instead of heavy rain, it was fast raining, it was a strong rain. No, that is incorrect again. If I say fast asleep, the baby is fast asleep now. Deep sleep, then what is that wrong in this? Deep asleep is wrong. Deep asleep is wrong in that condition. Again, fast food, I am going to hang out now and I am going to have fast food. Now in this condition, quick food is absolutely incorrect. Understood everyone? So, collocation means the words that are combined, used together. They are used in a very like combined manner. We cannot use any other word instead of that particular word. Okay everyone? Now, meaning may not be derived from the individual words. That means if I say food, I am going to eat food and will avoid using fast food. Will that convey the meaning that I am going to eat pizza, burgers or hamburger or hot dogs? No. Because that will certainly give you an idea that I am going to eat something Mughlai or many other dishes. It is not a specified meaning. Heavy rain, if I say rain, it is raining. Does it convey that I am talking about the heavy rain and the entire region of Mumbai has flooded up? No, you will not be able to get to know. So, the meaning will not be clear if you avoid using a single word. Now, traffic, hard traffic will not convey the meaning. It won't definitely convey the meaning. What is that? Maybe a translation from the Hindi. Heavy traffic does not mean a heavy weight traffic. Obviously, it is not the heavyweight traffic. Rather, it is it's a lot of congestion on the road. It's a lot of congestion on the road. It's so many vehicles have come on the road simultaneously. So, heavy congestion on the road you can say. So, that is heavy traffic. Now, I may come up with certain other examples of this, some common examples which clearly indicates that how these words are used in a group, in a combination with each other. They are collocations. For example, make bed. Do you really say that, come on kids, make bed, make your bed? You don't say that, come on, prepare your bed, or make your bed clean, or you cannot use any other verb in place of make over here, right? You simply say make your bed. Then take pains. Father used to take pains for their children, or mothers used to take pains while preparing nutritious food for their kids. So, take pains is again, it is not make pains or bear pains, no. In that case, took great pains. Give your word to someone, to promise. I have given my word to someone, I am going to fulfill my promise in that condition. So, give your word to someone. Do for living. What do you do for living? You cannot say what do you run, what do you sleep, or what do you work? No, all these things are wrong, incorrect actually. Okay, have pity. We generally say have pity on beggars, have pity on needed people. So, in that case you cannot say make pity. No, you cannot say like that. You cannot use the word make in that condition, make pity. Or you cannot use any other term instead of have, had pity. No, it is wrong. So, now in this condition, pay someone a visit. Pay someone a visit means I am going to receive, I am going to visit somebody's place. In that condition, pay someone a visit will not be transformed or will not be changed with any other word in that condition. I am going to pay my visit. Understood everyone? So, he paid a visit when I was in the hospital. It's clearly, I think the concept is getting clearer in your brain that how are the words selected and how these collocations add one more feather to your writing skills, because they are really very important, everyone. With this note, we will move forward towards the next thing, principles of writing. What are the basic principles of writing actually? How are we going to suggest that you are a good writer? First, you have to identify the clear purpose of writing. What is the purpose of writing? Are you enjoying? Are you relishing? Are you making or having fun while writing? What is the purpose of writing? Then purpose will definitely come up with theme as well. What is the theme? What is your aim? What is your target? So everything matters a lot. First of all, you have to identify the purpose. Is it formal or informal? Then we move up to the 4 steps of writing. What are these 4 steps of writing? Planning. First of all, you have to plan something. Understood? Second, after planning, what will you do? You will start writing. You will start writing it. And after writing, you will think about revising that thing once again. That is proofreading, remember. Proofreading is the 3rd point you should remember. It is mandatory. And after revising, you go again with editing part. Okay. So, all these 4 steps of writing creates a framework for you that how should you make your writing skills more effective. Now, we further move to clarity with brevity. It is not beating around the bush or using some irrelevant words again and again. That is not at all accepted. Try to use one word substitutions. Try to use words that are of good vocabulary and the words which convey maximum meaning, or you can say the entire meaning within that short span of sentence. Be very accurate. Whatever selection you are doing, it should be to the point, accurate, because in formal letter writing, in formals, whenever you are going for formal composition writing, remember nobody wants to learn, nobody wants to read long pages or a detailed description until unless that is a storybook, until unless that is a novel. Okay, everyone? Then politeness. You must remember that it should be polite. Your tone should be polite. Your words should express the reverence and respect. It should not at all be rude colloquial language. Then use of jargons. That is quite, you can either use them according to the audience actually. According to the audience, according to the readers, whom are you addressing? Understood, everyone? Because these things matter a lot while using these jargons. In my previous lecture also I told you that avoid using jargons when the readers are not of the same field. A medical student may definitely know about amphibians, may definitely know about DNA or maybe some technical terms. An engineering student may know about all those technical terms, but a person from humanities or from science background will certainly not be able to get to know. So, remember, jargons are used only in that condition where your audience is capable enough to understand. So, these are few principles of writing, and then further types of writing skills: persuasive, narrative, expository and descriptive. As I told you, the word in itself clearly indicates that these type of writing skills will definitely be chosen by you only. You will choose that which one is more applicable for my writing skill. For example, if I am writing a formal letter, which style am I going to choose? Am I going to choose persuasive? Yes, exactly like that. I am going to use persuasive while writing the cover letter. Remember, my dear students, while writing any kind of you can say storybook, you can write down with this, with a novel, you can use descriptive. Then if you want to go on with any other type, remember, my dear students, you should remember that few writing styles, all these writing styles will be chosen by you on the basis of your purpose. Okay. With this note, we will move forward towards the specific part. that what are the points to remember and where are these styles applicable. Now in this condition you can very easily use that points of identification. It asks the readers to do something for the situation. Okay, it asks the readers, it tells you the readers that there has to be something to do, and it has a reason, arguments and justification. Persuasive style in itself clearly indicates that persuasion. What do you mean by that persuasion? To convince someone. To convince someone is actually the point where you have to play. Now areas of usage, you can go on with speeches, cover letters, editorial piece, letter of complaints, commendation, newspaper opinion. All these type of formal letter writing, actually they will require persuasive style of drafting. Then we move up to the narrative style. Narrative style clearly indicates that it includes dialogues, figurative language, imaginative, figure of speech, emotional words, and have a beginning, interval and endings, that is narrative style. And then which are the areas that you must use them in? You must remember that the areas in which we should remember is the novels, short stories, fairy tales, autobiographies, anecdotes, short stories, some parables. So all these things, songs, legends, in all those things we can use narrative style in a very detailed manner, you can say. Further we move to expository styles. Now what are expository style? It has facts and figures. It exactly highlights what is there in front of you. That is expository style. That it exposes the facts and figures, remember. It explains the subject and organized logical order in a proper sequence. For example, expository style, textbooks are written, business writings are written, then research papers, encyclopedia, technical writing and reports, recipe writing. So as it is description of anything without using any other component of author's brain, remember, that is expository style. And last but not the least, descriptive style, that is talking about anything in a detailed manner. Remember my dear students, when there is a descriptive style, it has to be in long pages, and there is obviously grammar point is definitely very important, but along with that figurative language usage. Readers may feel connected and correlated with the situation. You will feel that readers will be connected with that, will be correlated with the situation. And then further, it describes in a detailed manner all the places, people, events, situations and locations. But basically expository and descriptive, they both are in the same manner describing the situation, describing the people, describing the place. But what is the basic difference between descriptive and expository? The basic difference between them is descriptive is too lengthy, whereas in expository you have to specify the person, you have to, the reader or the writer is not going to use his own imagination, whereas in descriptive he is generally going to use his own imagination and thinking process. For example, plays, journals writing, diaries entry, novels and poetry, there are few areas of usage where descriptive styles can be used. Further, formal and informal styles. Now throughout this paragraph, throughout this particular lecture, we have learnt how these things are going to work out. How are you going to select the words and in which style you are going to do. Further, formal and informal style. Whenever we talk about any informal letter writing to your father, to your brother or maybe to your friend, in that condition we generally use informal way of writing, informal style. So what is the basic difference between formal and informal writing styles that makes your writing more effective? Now first of all, language usage. Your language usage actually depends on the audience to whom you are sending. Is it you are sending any piece of paper to your boss, to your principal, to your director or anybody else? Short and meaningful sentence. You must try to come up with short, crisp and meaningful sentences, whereas in informal category long and elaborate sentences should be used. Okay, you can come up with descriptive style over there in informal category. Then again I am pointing out that in formal, whenever you talk about formal style of writing, no phrasal language should be used, no idioms, no exclamation, no imperatives and contradictions, no abbreviations. In the beginning, in my previous lectures as well, I told you that this is what in formal style we are not supposed to use all these figurative languages. We are not supposed to use idioms, phrases, colloquial speech and very long sentences. Okay, we have to comprise ourselves within the word limit. Whereas in informal category, you all should remember that you have the complete freedom of using any figurative language, of using any kind of phrasal language, phrasal verbs, idioms, antonyms, synonyms or any kind of exclamations. So it depends on you. Further, you must use correct grammar. You must try to come up with correct grammar and vocabulary in exactly the formal category, formal style, whereas some kind of modification could be adjusted in informal category, lack of formal grammar and vocabulary. Last but not the least, there has to be the usage of passive verbs in it. Passive, that is passive way of writing anything. Okay, the ship sank in the river, or the you can say few more examples. Whereas in informal style, you will definitely come up with active voice usage. Understood everyone? So this is what formal and informal styles. Now we have understood that throughout this particular lecture, we have learnt how are we going to make our style more effective. More effective by using the correct selection of words. I don't want to point out that you people are actually ineffective in writing. But there are certain parameters on which you can change your writing style and be more elusive, be more impressive in your way of expression, right. So in this case, these word selections will help you out and it will definitely improve the communication skills. Through this lecture, you have already understood how to improve your communication skills. Then essentials of self-understanding. You will understand, you will self-analyze yourself that okay, your work is quite feasible to be presented in front of the higher authorities. Then it will encourage the creative expression as well. Whatever you have created, it will help you out to use your own imagination. Then helps in reviewing and remembering recently learnt material. Whatever you have learnt, you can just come and just pour it, can add in your piece of writing, right. So this is very important. And then for the future career prospects also, it will help you out to improve your future career aspects and will certainly help you out to go for creative and technical writing as well. Further, your audience and writing purpose will determine your writing style. That is true. Whomsoever is reading your purpose, reading your writing composition, reading your composition will satisfy or will be satisfied, will decide that which kind of language you are going to use. Further, in this condition, I have used these references, the works that I have cited. They are the history of English language and elements of phonetics, and then Lakshmi, improve your writing skills, and then for collocations we have dealt with Felicity Odell, Michael McCarthy, English collocations in use, and then Macmillan collocations dictionary, and this is the website link. So thank you from my side everyone. Wish you all the best for your bright future everyone, and I wish that my learners would certainly be a very effective writers in that case. So please go for it, learn all the word formations and try to use the better words for better version of your writing. Thank you everyone.